sons of bitches. Got anything else to say? Now's the fucking time!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, thank you, studio audience, for the kind applause. It's much appreciated. Welcome to the Jake Brown podcast. I am your host, Jake Brown. That's me. How's everybody doing? Look, typically, I know I usually do a midweek show. Usually, I guess, I don't know, the last few I've been doing on Wednesdays. I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. MotoGP was in Aragon today, actually this whole weekend. And look, we all know that Twitter is an absolute dumpster fire. If you are only going or only basing your opinions on what is being said on Twitter, instead of, I don't know, watching the things that are happening with your own two eyes or one eye, I don't know how many eyes you might have, I think you're getting a false sense of reality. Because as we know on Twitter/X, everything on there is always the sky is falling. It is the worst it's ever been. This is the worst MotoGP racing that has ever existed ever in the history, in the decades upon decades upon decades of Grand Prix racing. This is the absolute worst. It has never been duller. God, come on, give me a break. That is not the case. What I am not going to do is argue that every single race is maybe action-packed, lap after lap after lap, race after race after race. Like, that has never been the case. But if you can't appreciate what's going on this season, regardless of who is winning and by how much they are winning by, I think that's a you problem. That is 100% a you problem. And I think you need to take a step back and maybe reevaluate your life. Like, why are you so angry? Why are you so bitter? Why are you so jaded? I understand Marc Marquez completely dominated the entire event this weekend. From leading every single practice and warm-up session to winning the sprint race and then winning the Sunday main race. Yeah, like maybe it wasn't the best racing at the front, but if you can't appreciate what Marc Marquez did today, what Marc Marquez did the entire weekend, that's a you problem. Like, no one can help you with that. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I will probably say it repeatedly in the future. We are living in an age right now as MotoGP fans where we are completely spoiled. We are completely spoiled. We have gotten to watch, let's just go back a decade, arguably the two greatest motorcycle racers ever. We've been fortunate enough to watch Valentino Rossi and now Marc Marquez, although you could argue Marc Marquez has been better than Rossi. He just didn't have the stats to back it up. But I don't even think that's the case now. His stats are comparable to anybody. And he's still young, and he's healthy, and he's absolutely dominating. We are fortunate enough that we get to witness probably the greatest motorcycle racer ever. Think about that for a second. Of all the people who have thrown a leg over a motorcycle at whatever level of road racing, I'm not talking supercross or that kind of stuff. I'm talking road racing. Of all the men and women who have thrown a leg over a bike, we are watching arguably the greatest one to ever do it. Ever. Ever. And I think we're taking that for granted a little bit because when he's on, he makes it look so easy and he makes everyone else look so average. I'm going to say that again. When he's on, he makes literally the best motorcycle racers on earth look average. Are these guys average? Oh, hell no, they are not average. We're splitting hairs with how good these guys are. And if you take some of these guys that are maybe on bikes that aren't as competitive, if we put Quartararo on a Ducati, he's given Marquez fits every single race and probably beating him some of the time. I still think Marquez is better, but right now, Quartararo is probably being held back by that Yamaha. That's just a fact. It's just a fact. We are witnessing someone who is so much better than everybody else that he makes the rest of the grid look average when in fact they are anything but. They are anything but average. These guys are so good at what they do. Pedro Acosta is hands down one of the best riders on the planet Earth. Easily. And it's not even close. Is he being held back by the KTM? I don't know, maybe. I know he can't sniff Marquez. And yeah, they had some dust-ups last season, but let's be honest. That GP23 was nothing compared to the bike that Marquez is riding now. And you could probably argue that the KTM that Pedro was on last year was probably pretty equal to the GP23. So we're splitting hairs with all these guys, okay? But in a world, in a paddock of splitting hairs, where sometimes where you finish may or may not be determined on the machinery that you're on and not necessarily the talent that you have in your body, Marc Marquez is the king of kings. He is a man amongst boys. He does things on a motorcycle that everyone, when we lay down in bed at night and close our eyes and we fantasize about being MotoGP world champion and doing all the crazy things on a bike, braking late, hitting apexes, picking up the throttle early, fucking wheelies, drifting through turns sometimes. This is all the stuff that, all these guys are capable of doing, but Marquez does it better. He just simply does it better. Nobody does it better than Marc Marquez. Nobody. It doesn't mean he's not beatable. It just means that he's by far the most talented one, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to win. And if he's not going to win, he's going to crash. Usually when he loses a race, it's because he has done something to cost himself a victory. And I feel like that just kind of sums up Marc Marquez's career, And now that he's healthy, God, it's such a joy to watch. And I don't care that he nailed his start and he got the whole shot and that was it. The race was over after turn 1. That race was over. 23 laps. There were 23 laps today. Marc Marquez led every single one of them. He led every single turn of every single lap today. And it really wasn't, he was not even pressured. And he said at one point, if you listen to one of his post-race interviews, he said with maybe somewhere between 5 and 7 laps to go, he thought about the mistake that he made in Austin, and He didn't want to make, obviously, that same mistake again. So what did he do? He pushed so hard that he broke his own all-time lap record that he had broken multiple previous times in the same race today. I mean, the dude is absolutely mental. He's absolutely mental. He is everything that you would want in a motorcycle racer. And if you got a little boy or a little girl, and you got them on pocket bikes, and they're just getting started and rate, like Marc Marquez is who they should be emulating. They are obsessed. He is obsessed with his craft. He is constantly challenging himself. He is in peak physical condition. You're not going to outwork him. You're never going to outwork Marc Marquez. There are lots of people who work maybe just as hard, but there's no one that's working harder than he is. And then you add the talent on top of that, whatever God-given ability that he has. We are literally witnessing the Michael Jordan of motorcycle racing. All right? And if you know, you know. There is no fucking debate. LeBron is not the best player ever. Michael Jordan, MJ is the GOAT. MJ is the GOAT. Okay? He transcended the sport. Now, I'm not saying Marc Marquez transcends motorcycle racing, because he still hasn't really got up to speed in the U.S. market. But subtract the USA, and Marc Marquez is the best, and he has transcended that sport. And I am really hopeful that the sale with Liberty Media goes through a U.S. company. I really hope that they're able to get the sale of MotoGP complete and acquire MotoGP. And however they're going to work their magic from a marketing standpoint, I hope that they are able to get this series and this rider out into the U.S. market. Because the dude is a fucking star. He is an absolute star. He is a star, and I want everyone to know. That's why I do these episodes week after week after week, because I believe in the series. I believe in all these guys, and I just want everyone to be as happy as I am and really enjoy motorcycle racing as much as I do. So, look, it's okay to be on Twitter, and it's okay to, have spirited debates and conversations on there. But let's not pretend that this is the absolute worst that MotoGP has ever been, simply because Marc Marquez is doing Marc Marquez things, which is absolutely dominating the competition. Like, maybe be a little pragmatic in how you view this, Like, it's cool as hell that we are able to witness greatness week after week after week, and to have the amount of access that we do through social media. Like, you get to see all these guys behind the scenes, the training they do, all the VR46 guys at the ranch, doing all the, the dirt track type stuff. Like, this is, what a time to be a fan of MotoGP. What a time to be a fan, I get so frustrated when I listen to all these, I don't even want to say like they're stupid opinions. People are just so doom and gloom, man. Like, hey, here's a thought. Why don't you imagine life without motorcycle racing? Let's do that for a second. Let's do that for a sec. And, yeah, we see. I mean, I immediately get all bummed out when I try to imagine a world without MotoGP, without World Superbike. Hell, I've really been getting into this outdoor pro motocross season now that Supercross is over. Week after every single week, these guys are racing. It is some crazy racing too. It is absolutely insane. But the way that those diehard fans view that sport and the way that MotoGP fans view this sport. Now, let's imagine a world without either one of those sports. Or pick your favorite sport. Maybe it's soccer. Maybe it's baseball. Maybe it's cricket. I don't know. Maybe it's hockey. Imagine life without your favorite sport. It just, poof, goes bankrupt, is gone. All these years, all these decades, you had access. You got to watch throughout your season. You got to see all these cool athletes doing the stuff that maybe you did as a kid, but, for whatever reason, you just didn't make it to that level. But you still love the sport. And then, poof, it's gone. Just like that. It's gone. Well, I guarantee you, if your sport vanished and you were not able to enjoy it anymore, you would be begging. You would be begging for the days of Marc Marquez dominating the grid by 5 seconds. You would be begging for Franco Morbidelli and Furman Aldeguer to be literally bumping bars and trading paint for 5th place. You'd be begging for it. So let's just have I don't know, take a step back, let's try to see the big picture here. These things happen where someone comes along maybe once in a generation, and we've been pretty fortunate. We've had a couple in this generation. They're just so much better than everybody else. It's okay to just sit back and marvel. Even though maybe the racing isn't as close as we'd like it to be. Maybe they're not dicing it up, the way we'd like them to be. Regardless, it's still better than Formula One. I mean, you want to talk about parade laps, go watch Formula One. If you want to watch people just parading around and no passing, and really the only action is pit stops, then go watch Formula One. There's been some good racing this season. There's been some dramatic racing this season. Just because it hasn't been maybe the closest racing, or maybe there hasn't been the battles that we all want week after week after week, it doesn't mean that it's not still compelling. And it doesn't mean it's not still dramatic. And today, I feel like today's race just kind of sums that up. It brings that point home. All right? Marquez was in complete control of this race from start to finish. No one even showed him a wheel. His brother Alex never even showed him a wheel. Never. Not once. Okay? It doesn't mean that today wasn't still compelling. It was still compelling. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just way out in left field here. Maybe I'm on an island by myself. I feel like maybe I can just see the big picture. I can appreciate an absolutely dominant performance. It's just the way my brain works. And I know that not every single event is going to be like today. This is Marc Marquez's track. He dominates this track pretty much more than any other track. I think this was he's won 8 races here total. And then Sachsenring, he's won 6 or 7. Austin, I think he's won 6. He dominates at Aragon. He absolutely dominates at this track. Okay. I think anyone who bet against him was probably an idiot to bet against him at this track. You can bet against him at any other track, or most of the other tracks. More than likely, he'll probably win, but he's not losing at this track. He's not losing at Aragon. I really don't care kind of what bike he's on. More often than not, he's going to win. He's that good around this track. It was still cool to watch. I don't understand why people are getting so bent over this. What did you think was going to happen? I'm just curious. What did you think was going to happen today? What did everybody think was going to happen today? Did you think Joanne Mir was going to be fighting for fucking first? Did you think DG was going to be fighting for first? Or maybe Alex Rins was going to pull the lead out of his fucking boots and be fighting for first. Like, yeah, I picked my 3, I think on Thursday. I actually posted on Twitter/X at Jake Brown Pod if you'd like to go give me a follow. I try to be active on there, but, I got shit to do. I'm busy. I get more active like during the races and the qualifying and stuff like that. But then the rest of the time, I just look to see what the gossip is, and then I get out. But I predicted. I thought first place was going to be Mark because I have fucking half a brain. But then I had second place Zarco, third place Bez. That did not happen. Bez he didn't get out of Q1. He fucking crashed. I think he started dead last for the sprint and for the main today. Zarco crashed out today, nowhere near the podium during the sprint. So, hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. In baseball, shit, 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3, you're going to the Hall of Fame right there. you're batting .333. You're going to the Hall of Fame, just like that. I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know what people were expecting. It's like everybody knew Marquez was going to absolutely dominate this weekend. And then when it happened, everyone still was pissed off that it happened. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe change your fucking expectations a little bit. Maybe be a little more realistic. Like, Catalunya, okay, you can maybe be upset if Marquez checks out and wins by 5 seconds. Okay, you can be upset then. No one is going to see that coming, all right? Maybe like Jerez or Mugello. Okay, no one's going to see an absolute Marquez checking out into the distance, completely dominating every single session, and then winning both races. Like, I'm with you there. No one's going to see that coming. If that happens, Phillip Island. No, if Marquez dominates every single practice session, the morning warm-up, both races, if he did that at Phillip Island, okay. We'd be a little surprised. And maybe there may be a little bit of outrage. Just a little bit. Like, what is happening? What is happening with this series right now? How is Marc Marquez the greatest rider ever? How is he dominating Phillip Island? I don't understand. Well, you shouldn't be surprised when it happens at Aragon. Like, his fucking backyard track. Like, if Marc Marquez could design a track for him to just completely dominate the rest of the population on, it would be Aragon. He's not losing here, especially on the Ducati. He destroyed everyone last year on the GP23, and it wasn't even close. And that bike, compared to the new one, is trash. It's not good. That 23 was, and I'm comparing the 23 to the 24 is what some people are saying, or the 24.9, or the 25, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. All right, the 23 was not as good a bike as the newer GP bike. The newer, whether it's the GP24 or the GP25. It was not near as good. And he absolutely boat raced everybody. Destroyed them. So why are we surprised that on a better bike, now in his second year with Ducati, why is anyone surprised at what he did? Come on, people. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Stop being so surprised over things that are obvious. All right. I'll give you the top 10, a little rundown. Marquez, followed by his brother, Alex. And I got to say, I know everyone's going to pick their rider of the race. And, I think a lot of people are picking Marquez. I think because of how dominant he was over the course of the whole weekend, a lot of people were picking him. And I didn't see what the actual official results were for MotoGP's rider of the race. My rider of the race, and I am extremely happy, Francisco Bagnaia. Pecco. finished in third place. The guy has just seemed absolutely lost this entire season. Like lost, like he can't ride the bike. I mean, no front end feel, can't pick a right tire to save his life. Anything that could go wrong on the GP25, it seems like it has gone wrong for Pecco. And even in the sprint race, Pecco did not have a good sprint race. I think he finished 12th. So again, no points. I think that was 3.5 rounds with like 0 points. And then today they make a change. They never say what the change is. And we can all speculate, when they say, we made a change in morning warm-up. You hear that a lot. We made a change in morning warm-up. We made a little change, made an adjustment. We tried something we found something a little different that worked. We made a little change to the bike. And we found a little it's more cliche talk. But obviously I think for once it's not cliche talk. I think Pecco's side of the garage actually found a change, and it clearly helped because he fought off Acosta for probably 3/4 of that race, and he was closing the gap on Alex and putting a little bit of pressure. He was keeping Alex honest. I'll say that. Okay, he was keeping Alex honest. Alex did not have over 23 laps a moment to exhale a little bit because he knew he had a good gap. Pecco was pushing him. He was always there. He was always there the whole race. He was always there. Never threatening, but he was there the whole race. And the fact that he was able to pull out a podium after the way that he has been riding, look, I don't think that they necessarily found, maybe a mechanical change. Maybe they found something that made him feel a little bit more comfortable. But I think today, this was way more, I feel, of a mental change. Pecco found something mentally that switched in his brain. I don't know if he just turned on the caveman brain and stopped thinking as much. I don't know. That's between him and his maker. Only he really knows what it is he did. But whatever the change was that they did, and I think it's probably more mental than anything, it worked, and I'm excited, and I hope that he is able to continue, build off of today, because, look, he, like I always say, as far as manufacturers, the series is better when Honda is strong, and I think, like, for this season, especially with Martin being out, the series is better if Pecco is strong, and Pecco has not been strong to this point. He just hasn't been. This has not been a good year, and I think that he will add to the chaos. He will add to the parity. He can pressure Marc Marquez. I think he can pressure Alex Marquez. He's as fat when he's on. He's as fast as anybody. He is as fast as anybody. Okay. And the series needs him to step up a little bit, so it's not just a two-man show, a two-bro show. Right now, it's a two-bro show, the two Marquez bros. We need a little Pecco in there too. All right, Morbidelli's been stepping it up. Aldeguer's been stepping it up a little bit. We need Pecco up there too, and we need Acosta up there. I was happy to see him fighting for the podium. I don't know. He went with the hard front today. Maybe he should have did the medium. I don't know. He was. I've thought of anything. That hard front was gonna come around more as the race went on, but that's just not the way it worked out. He made a couple passes on Bagnaia, but he just couldn't make him stick, and then ultimately Bagnaia pulled a little bit of a gap on him. Hey. If this gives Pedro a little more confidence, and he can be up there mixing up for podiums and fighting for wins, that's for all of us. That's just better. All right. So Marquez, Pecco, Pedro Acosta in fourth. Franco and Furman Aldeguer had one hell of like a final probably 5 laps. Oh my, that was probably the best racing of the whole day. Right there. They were literally banging bars and trading paint. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch. I mean, if you want to, you can fast forward to about, I don't know, lap 17, and then just pick up there. And these two actually get a lot of TV time. Furman is awesome. What is he, 19, 20 tops? And he's he's out there as a rookie, as a young kid, mixing it up with Franco. Good stuff. That was good stuff. Sky's the limit for that kid. It's so cool to see someone, especially who took the path that he did, and to see where he is now. So cool. So cool. Joanne Mir in 7th. What? Good on him. I think I saw a graphic that said that was his best finish since 2023. Hey, how about the fact he just fucking finished? Like, I'm happy with that. He finished and he scored points. Good stuff. Bezzecchi, considering he started fucking dead last and he worked his way all the way up to 8th, and I think he finished 8th in the sprint as well. So he had good pace. If he would have got to Q2 and actually had a decent grid spot, he would have been fighting for podiums. I don't think he would have been able to pressure Mark, but he would have been pressuring Alex. Faux show. I have no doubt about that. So I don't know what it is about that Aprilia. It just, for whatever reason, the one lap pace just isn't happening, or it's just extremely inconsistent. The race pace is really good. It's almost like they have kind of the same issue that Yamaha has. The one lap, the qualifying just isn't the best. Although, and I get it, like Quartararo had up until this weekend, 3 straight poles and 3 straight lap records. But overall, in the big picture, like, it just hasn't been great. And then the race pace has also been a little bit off. Look, Quartararo is the anomaly. Okay. So let's compare the totality of Yamaha, all 4 bikes. Quartararo is extremely talented and just a better rider than the other 3 Yamaha guys. So it's hard to paint with a broad brush stroke that Yamaha, quote unquote, has an issue, even though Quartararo is doing crazy things on that bike, breaking lap records, getting pole positions, finishing on the podium. Like, that's not the norm right now. I think Honda and what they've been doing, they're probably ahead of Yamaha. They just don't have Quartararo. If Quartararo was on that Honda, Jesus, maybe he would be fighting for wins all the time. I don't know. But it was cool to see Mir up there. Bezzecchi, I don't know. I think they'll get it figured out. DG in 9th, and then kudos to Raul Fernandez in 10th. Good job for him. He is the flying the flag for Trackhouse right now since Ayagura is injured. I don't know. I'm happy to see him finish in the top 10. From a points standpoint, Marquez extends his lead. He's now leading his brother by 32 points. He's leading Bagnaia by 93 points. Good Lord. And he's leading Franco by 118. And your top 5, he is leading DG by 134 points. Literally, this is I feel like this is Mark's championship to lose. It really is. He's going to make mistakes. Can he mitigate the mistakes? I feel like I've always said, there's going to be some times where maybe he just can't win, whether it's because of the bike or the conditions or whatever. It's when he really pushes the issue and tries to win and makes a mistake. That's where he has the problems. If he just accepts, like in Le Mans, when the weather was crappy and he knew he couldn't run Zarco's pace, and he just accepted that second place and scoring 20 points was good enough. If he does that, and then at the tracks where he's comfortable and confident, he attacks and he wins, it's his to lose. The championship is his to lose. Next up, the Grand Prix of Italy, June 20th through the 22nd. Man, I should go to that. I wish I should go to that. I should. I don't know if I told. I almost made a little snafu. So my friend, my buddy pal Mallory Dobbs, who races in the Women's World Championship as part of the World Superbike Series. A few weeks ago now, I got like a wild hair at my ass, and I was like, you know what? I want to go watch my pal Mallory race. And I just looked at the calendar. Okay, I just looked at the calendar on World Superbike, and I was like, bam, Czech Republic. There we go. I'm going. Spur of the moment. I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna go. And tickets to fly into Prague, I'm not exaggerating when I say they were stupid cheap. Round trip airfare from Seattle to Prague was like $550. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going. I'm going to watch Mallory ride, race. I'll have a few days on bookends where I can hang out in Prague. There's no like Airbnbs where this track is. I mean, you use Airbnb, but it's not like, I don't know. They're all trailers. Like you rent a trailer or like a farmhouse or like a room in a farmhouse with other people who are also renting a room in a farmhouse. So I found this trailer that was in these people's pasture, and it had great reviews. The reviews were like, oh, they're so nice, and it's not too far from whatever town, a few miles away. So I had a car ready to go. I had a trailer Airbnb that I was going to stay. I had the tickets, ready to purchase, to airfare to fly out there. I had, the tickets for the event were like $110 for all 3 days. I was like, fuck it. Like, that's cool, man. Like, what else am I going to do since I'm way out in the country? I'll just hang out there all day, completely ready to go. I had all 4 windows open on my computer screen, and it was just a matter of clicking and buying, clicking and buying, clicking and buy, click and buy. And I was going to be on my way to Prague to watch my buddy Mallory Dobbs race in the Women's World Championship. Well, fortunately for me, I decided to check the event schedule, not just World Superbike fucking calendar schedule. They weren't even racing. The Women's World Championship didn't even go to the Czech Republic. So I almost just took a trip to fucking cow country for no reason. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't have been for no reason. Like, had I bought all that shit, I probably still just would have went. But the whole point was to go watch Mallory race. So then, like, I was off by quite a few weeks, and then I had other stuff that I couldn't do. I couldn't go, and I was like, well, there goes that. There goes that. So look, I think the moral of the story is don't just check the series calendar, also check each individual event calendar to make sure that for your viewing pleasure, you get to see what you want to see. You get to see what you want to see. Otherwise, you might fly all the way to cow country, Czech Republic, and your buddy Mallory's not even there. Not even there. I mean, it would have been hilarious. And I still would have had a blast, honestly. It looks like a cool track. It didn't seem like there was a lot of people there watching. So I don't know. I think I probably could have fucking just walked right down in the hot pits and probably just hung out there on the wall. I don't know. But maybe one of these years I'll go check that out. All right, that's I'll give a little boxing update. So I think last episode I talked about how I wanted to do a fight, and I was hoping to get into an event at the end of this month. There's an event that some of my teammates are going to. Well, literally right after I put that little announcement out, I'm doing some sparring and was having great rounds too. Great rounds against a guy that I've struggled with because he's just very unorthodox. We call him Neo from the Matrix. Like he's hard to read, and I always struggle with this guy. So I had to change a game plan, and I was just trying to attack a little bit different strategy, and it was working. I was having success. We were having really, really good rounds, right up until He punched me square in the fucking face and broke my nose. So I'm going to see a surgeon tomorrow. Ugh, so dumb. This happened like 9 days ago. Oddly enough, that was on a Thursday that it happened. I was back at practice the very next night. I didn't spar or nothing. And then Monday, I was like, well, I want to try to do some light rounds just to see. And I have this I usually when I spar, I have an open face headgear. Well, I have another set of headgear that has like a bar across the face, and it's supposed to like, protect your mouth a little bit, protect your nose. I got a big ass fucking nose anyway. And now like it's even bigger and it's kind of crooked. Now it's like off to the side a little bit, like it's kind of hitchhiking. So I put that on and we did I guess, I don't know what the actual term is. I call it pocket sparring or tire sparring. So each person puts a foot inside of a tire, and then you got to keep your foot. You got to keep your foot in the tire, and we just do rounds. And really it's just to work on fighting in the pocket, fighting close. You're throwing a lot of body shots, that kind of thing. And it was a lot of fun, but I took a couple punches to the face, and most of them, it was no big deal. The bar did its job, but there were 2 of them in particular. The bar did not do its job the way that I thought that it was going to. And when I say that it was extremely painful, that would be an absolute understatement. It was so painful, it made me want to shit myself right there in the ring, right in the tire. I just wanted to shit myself and vomit and start crying. So eventually, I think I did 4 or 6 rounds, and then I tapped out. I was like, yeah, I'm done. And now we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I got to be honest, I got a little bit of anxiety about what's going to take place tomorrow, because I know what I have friends who've broken noses over the years, and I know kind of what one of the procedures is for fixing a broken nose. The problem with this, it isn't just that the nose is broke from like the bone standpoint, like the main bone, at least with me. This is the second time I broke my nose. So I got like this, it looks like a fucking launch ramp that comes off my forehead is like the bridge of my nose, because I never got it fixed the first time. I was a little kid and I broke it. And I know that they will kind of do the thumb on either side method, and then they just push that motherfucker back straight. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to find out though, but I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous about it. I just don't like surprises. As long as this surgeon just tells me what he's going to do, then I'll be fine with it. If he says, okay, I'm going to try to reset it, then I'll be like, okay, cool. But what I don't want is for him to be like, hey, lay down on your back. I'm just going to feel around a little bit. And then I'm like, oh, he's just going to feel around a little bit. And then fucking snap, he's shoving on it. No, I don't like that. I don't like surprises. I'm the kind of guy, I need to be able to get mentally prepared for the pain. That way when I get tattoos, and I'm very much this way, with this whole nose fiasco. I just want to know, I just want to knows what's going to happen. That's all. Oh shit, we know what that music means. All right. Hey, I do have an actual health-related episode coming up, because, look, I got a big problem with something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I want it to be a little bit of a surprise, but I got a problem with something. And I think it's mainly an American problem, all right? Because I haven't seen this problem in other countries that I've been to, and I've now got less than a lot of people, but more than a whole bunch of other people is my list of countries I've been to. And I don't see this problem in other countries. All right. So I'm going to talk about that in my next episode. Until then, hope everyone's doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Peace out.